When I was with you on Tuesday, we talked a little bit about the Cavaliers, the direction they were going in, and the man that was running it all, Chris Grant. Haven't been a huge fan of Chris's drafts and some of the moves that he made over the 3.5 years that he was the general manager with the Cavaliers. We laid out some of those moves for you on Tuesday, and lo and behold, 2 days later, after last night's debacle against the Los Angeles Lakers, Dan Gilbert today fires general manager Chris Grant. Gone after 3.5 years. The Cavaliers were 80-199 with Chris Grant as their general manager, and David Griffin takes over on an interim basis. We'll get to David a little bit later on in the show.
I need to take the best player available with every pick that I have. Now, some people might say, well, they need a quarterback, and what if that quarterback isn't the best player available? Should you reach? If the players you're looking at are very close in your grade, then I say you reach for the quarterback. But if there's a big disparity between the two players, you take the best player available. And I read somewhere online this week that Ozzie Newsome was asked about Ray Farmer and this being his first draft, and how when Ozzie had his first draft, he also had the 4th and 26th pick. And he took Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis, and that's when Lawrence Phillips was out there, and there was a lot of pressure for the Ravens to take Phillips, and Ozzie stuck to his board and said, nope, I'm taking the best player available. And it turned out that he got 2 Hall of Famers in Ogden and Lewis. So the advice from Ozzie and from me and I think some other people to Ray Farmer would be, you put all this work into your board with your scouts, you ranked everything, stick to your board unless 2 players are very close, then you might lean towards the area of need as opposed to just best player available. Johnny Manziel, the it factor. The other day, Mike Pettin, when I was out at training camp, Mike Pettin talked about the quarterback. I'm not worried about his mechanics. That's Kyle Shanahan and all that. That's their job. I need somebody that's going to be a leader. I need somebody that's got that it factor. He didn't name Johnny Manziel by name, but he was kind of talking about Johnny Manziel, so it would not shock me if the Browns ended up with Johnny Manziel. What I want to say about the coaches, you know, we're questioning Luke Fickell in the defense and that today, and even maybe Tom Herman in that first half. Kudos to those coaches for making the halftime adjustments. 2 games in a row now. They've trailed at halftime. They went into the locker room, they made some adjustments on offense and defense, and they've outscored the opposition now 51-17 the last 2 games in the second half.
All right, I've got less. People like to see big fat guys score touchdowns. They do. Let's be honest. This is their one chance to shine. They sneak out there. Nobody's expecting it. Is Barry Sanders the number 1 choice?
Barry Sanders is not your average back.
Did he play in the AFC or NFC?
Who's number 1? Tell me who's number 1. Loved watching him play. You wanted to see him touch the ball because you're waiting for the big play to happen. Who's he going to make miss? Is he going to jump over somebody? Is he going to go around somebody? He was one of those highlight type runners.
All right, Coach, 10th game against Rochester, so why not 10 rounds in a shootout to decide it, right?
Well, you know what, we've had in the last 2 years I've been here some real crazy games with them where you've seen 5-goal leads diminish and then shootouts, the outdoor games, so nothing would surprise me when we play them.
What'd you think of the team's effort? You're out of the playoffs mathematically. You've been eliminated, but here they are today playing against a team that's still trying to make the playoffs and position themselves. How about the team's effort?
Well, I liked it. I've liked it over the last stretch. I mean, I say last 3-4 weeks. We've worked hard. We haven't been able to get the points. Our chances for have been fine. We're just not finding the back of the net. And then you get into special teams that play such a huge part at this time of the year, and that seems to have dried up a little bit as well. So the effort's been there. And we've stressed the last little while that you got to find something to play for, and for a lot of guys that shouldn't be very hard. There's a lot of young guys that are trying to make their way, and they need to put a good stretch together to finish the season to hopefully have a good start to next season.
And you were telling me before the game about the Black Aces. There are some guys that maybe still have a chance to extend their season and be involved maybe in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, yeah, that would be unbelievable. I mean, you look at the season the Colorado Avalanche have had, and you know, the Black Aces are the extra guys that go up. They don't necessarily practice with the big team. I would go, Randy would go, we'd skate them or we'd stay here, and so that they stay in shape. And then if they get through the extra guys that are injured up there, then all of a sudden they're reaching into, you know, the group of guys that we have. And the longer you play in the NHL playoffs, you're going to have injuries. And a lot of players have seen time in NHL action. Some that have never played an NHL game all of a sudden get thrown in the NHL playoffs.
All right, so how'd you decide who you were going with in the shootout there as you go all the way down to the 10th guy?
Well, once we got down to 10 was a little tougher. We have a group of guys that have generally been pretty good. They haven't been as of late, and the Smiths, the Hishans, the Scarbosas. But then you get past that, and Stephen Elliott's usually pretty good. He's up right now with Colorado, so we thought we'd throw Matt Pufall in. He's out of junior, and just see what he had. Again, Troy Burke as well. I was kind of working my way down the bench from the forwards to the D, and I was almost at the D.
Davien's had a breakaway earlier and fanned on it, so he gets to redeem himself, and he won't hear about it in the locker room, right?
Well, I said to him when I was making the list out, I said, you don't mind if I keep you off this since you had one goal already. And then when it started to get down in numbers, I said, you know what? You've seen him once already. You might have him figured out on the second time. At least you'll be 1 for 2.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
All right, thanks.
There you have it from head coach Dean Chenault, the big win here for the Monsters tonight. Doug and Jock, back up to you.
Thanks, Doug. Just talked with head coach Dean Chenault. What he liked, obviously, that late goal. He said that was huge for the momentum. Hopefully they can carry that over here into the third period. He likes the intensity for both periods. He said good intentions for most of the game, but sometimes just some bad mistakes. Too many turnovers on the negative side, and got to stay away from stupid penalties. Well, the most important thing is keeping LeBron James. No offense to Shaq, who's won 4 championships already. It's about LeBron. Once they get LeBron taken care of, then they'll look at everything else. And with Shaq coming here, it solves a big problem for them. They didn't have a big guy in the middle that was a defensive force, a rebounding force. Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who will come off the bench now, is more of a finesse player, an outside shooter. Shaq gives them that legitimate post player to defend the Dwight Howards, the Paul Gasols, the Yao Mings, and guys like that who really hurt them last year.
All starts.